Hey, how you doing out there today? This is Uncle Steve's Lounge. I am Uncle Steve, and this is the Monday Minutia on March 2nd, 2026. We are here today to talk about your Atlanta Falcons, which should be a week of transition for us as a lot of teams are starting to kind of cut the fat, make some releases, trade suggestions, trade requests, all that kind of stuff. So this is the time of the year where we get those things dropped. We're going to talk about it a little bit. And from our perspective as an Atlanta Falcons fan, which Atlanta Falcon player's departure will hurt the team the most in 2026? Come back. Let's talk about it.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing out there today? This is your Uncle Steve here in Uncle Steve's Lounge, here to talk Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta sports, or whatever else you want to discuss today. Well, kind of the talk, I guess, leading up to this week, because we're coming closer and closer to the beginning of the 2026 officially, the 2026 season of the NFL. You're starting to see a couple of teams make moves as far as what people are cutting, trading and things of that nature. And of course, here in Atlanta, we're waiting the word on potential cuts, potential re-signings. With a new regime in here, we have no idea what direction they're going to go. They've given us a little bit of word candy in some of the press conferences, but is there really a direction that the Atlanta Falcons are going? And of course, one of the bigger questions in our community, especially from the fan standpoint, is probably trying to read through some of the words of our GM and our president of football operations and try to see, is Michael Penix Jr. a big part of the 2026 plans for the Falcons? It's a legit question because as much as they said they were going to go ahead and, seems like they're supporting him going forward, I haven't really heard that, that wrap around and you're our guy, you're the starting quarterback, no doubt. And on a team that's been under 500 for the last 8 seasons, it's kind of hard for them not to, you know, I understand why they haven't committed yet. You got to see what's going on out here in free agency and maybe even through trades. I know a lot of the names haven't been, Hall of Fame names, but they could, in Kevin Stefanski's system, could work to make us a winning team. But as far as those members of the Atlanta Falcons on the past year's team, which one of the players, not just free agents, just somebody that you've been hearing in a rumor that might be gone, which one of those players' departure would hurt the Atlanta Falcons the most when you start talking about uh you know them staying on the team, being re-signed? Of course, you hear a lot of stuff about, should we re-sign Caden Ellis? Caden Ellis, who has proven to be kind of a, you know, big time leader next to Jesse Bates. He's a free agent. He's done well here in Atlanta. He's been kind of the quarterback of the defense. And he's done a solid job. There's nothing I can truly say bad about Caden Ellis. He might have played out of position a little bit when Diablo was out last season. Not his fault. But you saw his true worth when we had a full complement of everybody out there. And he's a really good player. So you got to wonder, what is the thought on him? Is D. Alford coming back? D. Alford flashed a couple of good plays last year. Remember the interception that pretty much set us up to come back against Tampa Bay? Made some good plays out there when he really wasn't penciled in to be one of the players that would be out there a lot with Billy Bowman's injury. Is he somebody you re-sign? And then we have to start talking about players who are here and contractually here. And we may not want to think this, but Jesse Bates is somebody who I love on this team. But I also think with a new regime, they don't owe Jesse anything. The new folks coming in, and I know they respect him, but that's also a really big number he's carrying. Now, if they extended him, it would make my day. But you have to start thinking about things like that. We only have 5 draft picks this year, including not having a number 1 pick. The man came on the press conference the other week, Ian Cunningham, said, I want picks. There may be candidates for that. You already saw what they feel about Kyle Pitts last week, putting the franchise tag on him, which pretty much means, there's an outside chance they could dangle that, and if they don't come to a contract agreement by July 15th, he'll be playing on a 1-year deal, and then he possibly could be put out there for trade. But I think their thought is to keep him around. Darnell Mooney. And I don't want to 100% dump on him because he did go out and sounds like he had the injury in preseason and he wasn't ready to go and just never seemed to kind of get his footing into the season. We see what looks like attitude out there on the field, but not knowing what's going on behind the scenes. We know the firing of the wide receivers coach may not have been popular in that group. But is he somebody that's a candidate that could be gone? Which one of those players' departure would hurt this team? I'm going to tell you right now, I think Caden Ellis is a very important piece to this team. But I would understand if we moved on. Caden Ellis's agent is probably saying, listen, y'all, we brought him from New Orleans, where he had, at the time, he had a fair shot of winning. He came to a organization that had been losing back to back to back. He solidified a position that we had some trouble with, linebacker, until Jalen and Pierce came along. And so a lot of people would say, well, that's a no-brainer. And again, we don't know what the strategy is of the new organization. We're not sure what they're going to do. So I want to get everyone prepared for what could happen. I know I've seen as many people saying, man, maybe we get rid of Michael Penix Jr. himself, which to me would not be a smart move because you still have him on a very reasonable rookie contract. So I want to know how y'all feel. I mean, to me, I think there are a couple of players there. I didn't mention David Onyemata, who gave yeoman's work, and he was solid. But we kind of overpaid him. And you look at what Grady Jarrett went out and made for Chicago, and they didn't want to pay him his money. We gave David Onyemata his, and he was okay. I wouldn't say that was a $16 million type of situation. But let's see. And I want to hear what you all think. So as you see, scrolling on the bottom, that's the topic we have. And again, if you all want to talk anything about the Falcons, you want to talk about the impending free agent class coming in, you want to talk about what quarterback do you think the Falcons could go out and get, whether it be a quarterback that is seriously going to be the future of this team or whether it's going to be somebody that you just want to compete with Michael Penix when he gets off the injured reserve list. I know it's kind of a moratorium on the James Pierce Jr. talk because it's really not a lot to talk about right now. We don't know how that's going to end up, so no need to holler at it. But, we'll see. So let's see what y'all talking about. Let's go here in the chat and see what is going on here. First up, Mike Thomas in the house. What is going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Post office guy in there. What's going on? Scott Glover is in here. Good to see you, Scott. Thanks for coming up in here, brother. Mike said retirement is good, but miss talking Falcons with you and John. Yeah, hey, you're not gonna get better talk than John Harris on some Falcon stuff. So I understand. I got you loud and clear. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you are doing well. Jimmy Hall's in the house. What's going on, Jimmy? Good to see you, brother. He said Algier leaving is going to hurt us, especially without a set backup running back. And I didn't even mention Tyler Algier. You know why I probably didn't mention him, Jimmy? Not because I didn't care. Because I think that's the one that if we really look in the mirror, that look, we got to be happy for Tyler to get a chance to go out there. And do you all realize that these 4 years that Tyler Algier has been here, he has made a total salary of less than $4 million in the 4 years he's been in Atlanta? Look it up. 4 years, less than $4 million. And just as a fan of his, that I would just say, man, go get your money. Somebody's going to pay for him. Now, I think he saw the contract the young man got out of Dallas, and that was right around the salary, about 3 years, I think he got about 16, $17 million guaranteed. That's what Tyler's looking for. We can't do that. We can't do that this year. We're gonna have to find somebody that's serviceable, back up Bijan when we need to, and we'll be fine. But Tyler Algier, add him to that list. Lisa Shepard's in the house. What's up, classmate alert? How you doing, Lisa? She says she's just checking in. Hopefully everything is going well. Joyously hopeful is in the house. How you doing? What is going on, ma'am? I think I answered a good question about her. She was asking a question about the franchise tag last week when it came to Kyle Pitts. And I was trying to explain that to her and just to say, it turned out that the estimated tight end salary ended up going down. They were estimated at a little bit over 16 million, but it was barely right at 15 million. Not that that's not a lot, but it was kind of a pleasant surprise. Justin Swisher's in here. What's going on, sir? He says Tua, Geno, or Kyler for the vet minimum. And again, we got to wait all three of those. I'm pretty sure, Justin, as you know, I'm barring something weird, all those guys are going to get released probably within this week. I know they will. So we're going to talk about that too. Let's talk about it. Let's put it on the table. Tua, somebody who, the concussion thing was a serious thing for a minute, probably still is, but his play was so erratic last year, unless he was playing the Atlanta Falcons. And I can't say that. Miami went on a little 4-game winning streak, starting with that win. They came here and drug us in the bins, and Tua was playing pretty good ball. So I can't 100% just say they were total junk, but at the same time, he was inconsistent. And with that cap nut, man, Miami's going to have to take a big hit if they cut him. But I think they're going to be willing to do it. I think you're going to look at a situation like it was with Russell Wilson in Denver a couple of years ago. I think Miami is so ready to get over the Tua era. I think in the next couple of days, you're going to hear Tua. Obviously, in Vegas, you're going to hear Geno because they got their mindset probably on Mr. Mendoza, reigning Heisman Trophy national champion. And then Kyler Murray, who I'm not 100% sure they're going to do that yet. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Got Drusif. What's going on? Hi, man. How you doing? Good to see you in the house. Thank you for joining Uncle Steve's Lounge. And again, as y'all come in, make sure y'all hit the like button for your uncle so we can get this stuff out here into the atmosphere. Anybody, I've met so many people in the last couple of days, and I appreciate you all when you see me and kindly like, man, I know you. You're the guy on the football with the songs. Yes, that's me. So it's real nice to interact with a few of you out there. So I appreciate you. Y'all hit that like button. He says, D. Alford, not gonna lie, had a makeup year from the last. He did. Hard to tell if he'll continue to improve or if he'll have more Justin Jefferson trip moments. Yeah, Justin Jefferson probably has that on his wheel to reel as far as memories of those games against D. Alford. But I don't think you have to pull up the Brinks truck for D. Alford. I think what we're coming to now, this is a situation where are these folks coming in, is their evaluation of him totally different from the regime that just left? That's what D. Alford has to worry about. There's a lot of folks here that may not, there might have been some personal attachments to him. Raheem had a lot of guys that really liked him. And not that D. Alford wasn't here before Raheem, but he had a lot of favorites. And a lot of those guys may not live up to what we want to do here. So from that aspect, we'll see. Big Low Country Sports is in the house. Thank you, brother. Out Big Low Country Sports. He is the man. If you want to talk about podcasting in Atlanta, he is always doing this thing. He's out there in the streets. He's a common man, Falcon fan through and through. And all he wants is a winner. And y'all make sure y'all check him out on Big Low Country Sports. He said, "Hey, Unc, it's almost barbecue season. I'm paying for my Kobe burger in advance, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat, man. And look, I it is time to get out there on that grill. Let me what we got on here for what we got on here for low. What we got? Let's see.
No one is like Uncle Steve. I know for you. Got the kind of super chat like me.
Man.
Hey, whatever you want.
Low wishy guy.
It's all right with me.
Hit them high notes like that. It was a struggle, but we made it. Appreciate you, big dog, man. Thanks a lot, man. Again, y'all make sure y'all check Big Low Country Sports out, man. That is my brother. Georgia, Texas boy is in the house. What's going on? He said, "What's up, Uncle Steve and family? Family, the new era is here." It is. It is. Let's see what we can do with it. Hope we can do something with it. My other brother, David Starks, is in here. He said, "What's up, Steve? Ellis leaving will hurt, and reports start he has priced himself out of here. He should. He was a great locker room guy, and as well as a good player, but the linebacker class is deep as a consolation. Listen, I think that's it's going to be one of those deals where, again, us as fans on a team that hasn't been really great, we leech on to some of these guys that were good, but we have to move on. I think the biggest example of that, David, and anybody out there to hear, do y'all remember how I don't know we've talked about this back in the past, when Roddy White was unceremoniously dumped from this team after 2015? And there were fans that were absolutely over Dan Quinn, over Kyle Shanahan. How dare you get one of the most prolific wide receivers in Falcons history at that time and get rid of him? That's our favorite. That's our guy. That's our this. And Roddy just got up out of there. And I remember the year. Remember the radio station? They would free Roddy and all that. And they brought in Muhammad Sanu. Y'all wasn't Sanu then. Y'all wasn't like Sanu. Y'all were mad because Roddy was gone. And what do? Super Bowl berth, 2 straight years of very productive play from Sanu, and not only Sanu, but all the other wide receivers. Spread the ball around, taught us how to win a different way. Am I saying this regime's going to do the same thing? I don't know, but let's give it a shot. Let's see. Jack Spade in the house. What is going on, Jack Spade? Jack out at one time for the fan. He, T. Will, Carey, doing their thing over there. He is always keeping it live. He said, "What's up, Unc?" Always keeping it real, repping the Falcons. Chat, hit that like button ASAP. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining the lounge as a VIP, I would say, in this area, as far as I'm concerned. You're the man. Got my man, Matt, in the house. What's going on, Matt? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. He said, "Do you think the Falcons need to address their wide receiver room, like wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3? Yes, and yes, and triple yes. Absolutely. The wide receiver, maybe aside of linebacker, and put a little asterisk on that because we still got to find out what's going to happen with James Pierce. As I'm telling everybody, I'm not 100% certain that he is as off the Falcons' radar as people want to make it. And when we get a chance to see what ends up happening, we'll dive deep into that. Uh, we need to look on the free agent pile for wide receivers. We need to look in the draft for wide receivers. I don't see them making a big money splash in that direction. I think the only money you're going to use for wide receiver is probably to extend Drake. I don't see Drake going into the season without a new extension. I think that's going to happen, and that'll help because that'll probably help massage this number down a little bit. I don't think you go into next year with Drake getting franchised in 2027. I don't see that. I see them looking forward to getting him signed. But yes, we need to get some type of help at wide receiver position, and it doesn't have to be the big money stars, even though I don't think it's anybody out there aside of Pickens. I know the young man from Indies out there. You could see some cuts coming up. Maybe Chicago rumored that they were moving on possibly from DJ Moore. That's not official. I just saw some things that suggest that he might not be there. He would be a good candidate to bring in here, possibly, but I think DJ is somebody that wants to get paid too. But we really do need someone on that other side of Drake London to help out. It's nice to be able to lock in Kyle and for one more year. But the Mooney position hurt us so bad last year. And if we're keeping it real, the promise of Casey Washington never came to fruition as well. And Casey Washington, we were the build up for him that he was going to be the next guy. It just never came true. Are there some wide receivers out there? Absolutely. Looks like Mike Evans might be moving on from Tampa Bay. Is he somebody that you possibly would think about? I don't know. And we're gonna find out in the next couple of weeks because y'all, the little. It is so weird that they always talk about the season. The season starts March 13th or 14th, whatever it is. The legal tampering date, which is really the most important day. The legal tampering date is next Monday. And next Monday, you'll start seeing teams start offering contracts. Then you're going to get the first glimpse. This time next week, we'll get the first glimpse at what the plan is for the Atlanta Falcons. I am still thinking we might get a big trade here coming soon. I don't want that to happen. But as I'm listening to Ian Cunningham talking about wanting picks, and I'm looking at that big, fat, gigantic contract of a really good player in Jesse Bates, I guess you want to see if Jesse wants to be here or not. He seems like he does. But again, it's not personal. Jesse might want to go back and try to play football. I mean, playoff football somewhere. I hope it's here, but I wouldn't be mad at him if he was trying to make a move. I mean, that's realistic. Justin says, do you expect a fire sale from this regime to get their guys in draft capital? Exactly what I was talking about. I didn't even see your question. Justin, I think I don't know about fire sale. I would maybe a little brush fire, maybe a little, maybe a little, maybe a little smoke sale. Yeah, I think there are going to be a couple of people that we might be surprised. I'm gonna pull up the Atlanta Falcons contracts here in a second, as soon as I get down here a little bit. Monte Carlo in the house. What's going on, brother? He said, Caden, that all spark on the defense. We got to find a way to keep them. I would love, and again, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, Atlanta Falcons, if we keep Caden Ellis. But the problem is, we already just committed that money to Kyle. And unless you're just planning ahead to say, well, we're gonna sign and trade Kyle, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think this is their opportunity to try to give him one more year just to see what he can do. I just don't think they have the room to sign Caden to that. I don't. I wish they did, but I don't think they do. Unless he undersells himself, and I just don't think Caden is gonna do that. I think Caden knows this is his last chance at probably a $10 million possibly contract. You want to join one of his brothers in Denver or New England? Maybe. Reunite with Sean Payton, possibly. And I say reunite. Did he ever play under Sean Payton? Oh, no. He may not have. That might have been Dennis Allen. I got to check that out. See that he ever played 1 year, at least on Deshaun. Because I know Dennis Allen was there how many years? 2 years? David says, I felt lied to about Casey Washington. Yeah. It was. It was like he was securing the spot. And again, this is not saying we don't want to support our own, but it's one of those things with Casey Washington where you were like, man, every time he got out there on the field, it seems like he couldn't stay on the field with us. And that's not a shot. That was just reality. Casey couldn't stay on the field. What is it? Your best ability is availability. And then you saw near the end of the year, they were putting the Seals of the world and Drummonds and folks like that out there. And Casey Washington was pinned in as a starter in the slot at the beginning of the year. So that hurt. That hurt a lot. I don't know. Scott says, how do you feel about Stefanski's coaching grade? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what his coaching grade is. I think Kevin Stefanski, if you think about what he did when he went to the playoffs with pretty much two different eras of the team, you know, he was there with the first Baker Mayfield part where the Baker folks, when Baker came in, they got off the long winning streak. So I kind of liked how he did that. And then a couple of years ago, to be able to brush Joe Flacco off, put him in, and still make the playoffs. Now, they got thrashed by the Texans when they got there, but at least he got there. At least he said it was a C- in his last season. Yeah, well, if we are looking with a critical eye at this offseason, and people like Sean McDermott got cut late, Mike Tomlin was a little later, and Tomlin doesn't want to come back. Harbaugh, who didn't want to be in Atlanta. Who else? I mean, and it's a done deal because all the coaching slots are filled now. But who are we gonna get? It almost sounds like maybe Kubiak had his eyes. I guess the further he got in the playoffs, looks like he had his eyes on the Raiders anyway. I mean, because if we really wanted him to come, we would have waited, right? And maybe he was in a situation, he was like, well, hold on. If I'm gonna go there, if I'm gonna go somewhere, let me go somewhere I can pick my quarterback off the top of the heap in Mendoza. I got Max Crosby. Grudgingly have Max Crosby on my defense. I have a huge cap number. I think Vegas has over 100. If I'm not mistaken, I think they have over $100 million in cap space. And I'm thinking, let me see. Let's look at this. No, 85 million. I'm sorry. Yeah, 85 million in cap space. It's a lot of money. That's a lot. They should be able to do a lot. But who are we gonna get? We got to stop acting like there were A-plus coaches out there. I know what I didn't want to do. I just didn't want to take another chance on a coach who hadn't done it before. Yeah, Kevin Stefanski, is he Vince Lombardi? No. Is he Bill Belichick? No. Andy Reid? No. But he also may have got a bum deal in Cleveland. I don't know what they were doing in Cleveland at the draft last year. That was crazy stuff, right? Drafting the quarterbacks, Shador in the 5th round, which I don't think he wanted to get Shador. I don't even think it was personal. I don't think any of that stuff was Stefanski. I think that was that owner. He seems to be. Remember, that was the owner that kind of ticked everybody off with the Watson contract. Jimmy Haslam is his own dude. So I hear the grade. I see you. Let's give it a shot, man. It was either that or another year of Raheem. And I just think at this point it was just time to move on. Let's see what Stefanski does. David says, speaking of Bates, I think we have his replacement in Watts, and Bowman was a safety at Oklahoma. This may be Bates' last deal in Atlanta. Yeah, and so, excuse me, y'all. I got a little bit of cold. Sorry, I keep coughing. I think this is why I also suggested that too. Nobody's trying to push Jesse out of Atlanta. That's the last thing I want to do. Somebody who has been all pro 2 of the 4 years here. Somebody who seems to definitely be a leader in that locker room. There's no way I want him out of here. However, if you're the Falcons and you're looking and you're saying to yourself, like, okay, we got to get some money from somewhere. Right now, we're $23 million over the cap. I'm sorry, under the cap. And we got a lot of stuff to do. Now, let me pull this list up real quick just to share it with you all. So if we look at the Falcons team, and I'll make it a little larger because people like me's eyes are not as good as they used to be. I'll tick it up one more tick. There we go. See if that helps you on the screen. Well, it'll help if I can pull this down a little bit. Let's do that. There we go. So you look at all those big contracts right there. You're talking about Jake. You're talking about Chris Lindstrom. Lindstrom isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Jake has a huge number. I'm pretty sure they're going to talk to him about that. Jake Matthews is a Iron Man. He's all of that, but Jake Matthews is not a $27 million left tackle today. Jesse's number right there, $24 million, man. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a big number. So I don't know. I mean, Kurt, you already talk about the money that we owed him. So, I mean, that's whatever. Jesse just signed the contract. Not sure if they're going to move anything down. Darnell, I think he's just about as good as gone. Uh, it'll be interesting. Caleb McGarry, I don't know. It'll be interesting. And then you see Bijan down here with $6 million. They're going to have to do something with that contract pretty soon too. I just think there are some things this year financially that we probably need to do that is not going to be fan favorite. It's not going to make fans happy at all. So we might lose some of our, our guys. What's up, King? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us again here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. I appreciate you joining us. I was gonna talk a little bit today too about the quarterback situation. Now, listen, it's not just us here in Atlanta. There are a lot of national pundits, whether it's ESPN, whether it's FS1, whether it's Bleacher Report. There are a lot of folks who really feel like the Atlanta Falcons are going to make a move for a quarterback, which to me, I understand, that not being assured about Michael Penix. I get it. I'm not naive, and I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh my goodness, we get rid of Michael Penix, the world is over. It's not. So I am looking at the list of free agents, and I've done it before. And when you look at it, you try to you try to just say exactly what does this next regime, what are they looking at as far as quarterbacks is concerned? The pickings are slim. Daniel Jones is probably a 10 out of 10 chance that the Colts are going to keep Daniel Jones. Aaron Rodgers, if he comes back to play, he's coming back to play for Pittsburgh. Unless somebody like Minnesota says, man, we got all these wide receivers. We just need somebody that can throw the ball forward, because McCarthy is not that guy at the moment. Russell Wilson, I don't know if Russell wants to come to Atlanta. I don't think he does. I don't know. For reasons that we speculate. The Marcus Mariota thing we've seen before. Somebody mentioned something about Zach Wilson. That might have been me talking to Lowe about that. Still young. Could it be another Sam Darnold situation where, hey, maybe he gets with the right coach in the right place? He could be somebody that we could use. Of course, everyone is going to naturally have the Joe Flacco connection because of what he did with Kevin Stefanski a couple of years ago. Even at 41, if he could just come in and just steady the ship until Michael gets healthy. Kenny Pickett, who I don't think is going to be in the future of Vegas. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not sure that's a good mix either. Or, as we talked about before, some of these quarterbacks that are probably going to be on the chopping block. It's a good chance Tua is going to be on that list. Geno Smith, Kyle Murray, Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields. There are going to be some names out there that we might not be ready to embrace wholly just because of but there's nobody on that list that people are saying, let's go get him. I did mention Malik Willis. on that list either. And he's a free agent. He's probably going to get a little chance. Will that be back home for him? You can go all over the place with the quarterback thing, but we're getting another quarterback. Y'all can guarantee you that. And whether it's a serious threat to Michael or whether it's somebody you can say, oh, okay, he's just coming until he gets better. I don't know. David says, I don't listen to people who don't watch the Falcons talk about the Falcons. From what I'm hearing, it'll probably be Flacco or some other placeholder because they want to evaluate Penix. That could be true, but I also don't want to dismiss, Dave. I don't want to dismiss the part that we're not sure what the game plan is. And I think somewhere between Matt Ryan, Ian Cunningham, and Kevin Stefanski, is there a plan that they're saying, hey, are we bringing somebody that's ready to win now? And if he does and catch fire, we can sit Mike? Or are we legitimately saying Mike is our guy and we just need somebody Flacco-ish to sit in the interim? I'm saying at this point, it's not about hurting Michael Penix's feelings. He's a big boy. He's in the league now. Has got to understand that the team keeps going whether you're on the sidelines or not. But it's in the world of the three of them that we know. And I think we're going to find out pretty soon. I think we're going to find out next week. I think we'll find when we start seeing these quarterbacks, because these quarterbacks are about to get cut. I think the Miamis of the world are waiting for some team to make a deal with them on Tua. Same with Arizona. I'm pretty sure Vegas is knowing that nobody's going to take Geno. And I know they're not going to pay Geno to sit on the bench and make, what, $20 million? Trying to see how much is Geno making this year. Geno is making, because that was a pretty nice contract he signed, which I was definitely kind of laughing about. Geno Smith is due to make $26 million this year. They're not going to have a $26 million backup to a rookie quarterback. Only Atlanta does things like that. We got the market on that. Monte Carlo says they busy trying to undo all the progress in the name of making their own mark, but it's going to possibly do more damage than good. And now we're waiting another 3 years. Well, I do think there's a fear of that. And that's a legitimate thought where you say, man, I've seen the defense make strides. The offense kind of stuck in the mud, man. I really, yeah, I can't say the same about the offense, but I do know this. If you can get somebody that is just savvy enough and smart enough to do more with less, and I think that's what the charge of Stefanski is going to be, to do more with less. We can do it. You see other teams do it. Green Bay wasn't sitting there full of stars. I mean, until Michael Parsons got there. I mean, we as football fans might know some of those guys, but they really weren't. New England went out there and bought their team. So it's not, I mean, that's not fair. But really, from New England's standpoint, it's not like they had any stars. They brought in Diggs. You look at Buffalo's team, aside of the reigning MVP, I don't know if you could name a regular player, maybe except James Cook. I don't even think Sean McDermott should have got fired, but I understand why. I understand why he got fired, but you know. But I understand what you're saying. I don't think we're going to go backwards. I'll say that. I can see us staying close to that 500 area before I see us going back. Georgia Texas boy saying we can get Kyler on a 2-year deal with the first year being bet minimum and the second year being a team option. You don't have to sign Kyler to a 2-year deal. If they cut him, Kyler's gonna still get paid from he's gonna get some of that money from the Cardinals. It's not as Tua is the big situation. Tua is the one that look, Miami's trying to get rid of him. Miami's gonna be on the hook, and he's gonna get a big chunk of money from Miami. And Kyler's gonna be in a kind of similar situation. Let me see what his deal is with Kyler. Because I think Kyler is due. Let me see what his Kyler Murray is due to make $52 million this year. So out of that money that he would make, he has in bonuses 320. His base salary is $22 million. He still has a roster bonus that they would probably be on the hook for at $17 million. So if they wanted to trade him right now, they would trade him to a team, and that team would have to absorb the $22 million and $19 million next year. Not bad numbers, quite honestly. And if we hadn't come out of the Kirk Cousins situation, it actually would be a really good situation that you would pay him that. But I just don't see them. I just don't see them doing that. They're probably going to have to cut him all the way. They're going to have to. But I wouldn't sign him to a 2-year deal. I'd sign him to a 1-year deal. I'd give him one year and load it with incentives. 1 year, $12 million, hit some escalators, you get 3,000 yards, you get an extra $2 million. You take us to the playoffs. If he takes us to the playoffs, not Michael Penix gets healthy and takes us to the playoffs. If he takes us to the playoffs, then have some escalators in the salary like that. Again, he'll be getting paid that bonus money from the Cardinals. So it's not like he's going to sit around slumming. So no, you don't make him that much richer, in my opinion. Antonio James, what's going on, brother? How you doing? He said bringing in Tua would be a horrible idea. Replacing one injury-prone QB with another one is nasty work. The Tua thing is very interesting because I do hear a lot of pundits thinking, well, the two names of people that are already connected with a team that you hear with Atlanta the most, you keep hearing Tua and Kyler. It'll be very interesting to see if both of those players get cut here in the next week. Because if you see them get cut and you're the Falcons, I hear what you're saying about his injury history. Right now, beggars can't be choosy. Kyler is not exactly a perfect vision of health either. That's why I say it's not there aren't any slam dunks in the availability category at quarterback. if you're the Atlanta Falcons looking in? Or do you even go the off chance of looking at one of these college quarterbacks, which I don't think they will, because I think they're still teaching Michael Penix. I'm not sure if they're gonna be, if I know Matt Ryan's mentality, I think Matt Ryan says, let's bring a veteran in here, somebody who's played some football before that we can get excited about in case Mike doesn't come back 100%. Now, a lot of these questions are going to get answered, folks, in the next couple of days. You saw the trade today. That was a little bit of a shock. Well, take that back. Not a huge shock, but the fact that they even traded him and didn't let him get all the way to the end. David Montgomery goes from Detroit to the Texans, which you knew that was going to come. They were in a situation similar to what we have here in Bijan and Tyler. Montgomery wasn't going to get paid again. They need to clear some books because Jahmyr Gibbs, who is in that Bijan Robinson category, he's going to get some money. They got to figure out a way to clear the books. Detroit could be in some interesting times coming up here. I know they had redone Jared Goff's contract last year, so they got some money on that end. They're gonna have to ante up here in the next year or so for. Oh, wait a minute, or maybe I'm doing that early. Aiden Richardson was on the national championship team, so this is only his third year. So now we got another year for him. But Jahmyr Gibbs will be coming up. Jahmyr is about to get paid. It'll be interesting to see if people will, which one will blink first, whether it be Jahmyr or Bijan, as far as who takes the contract first. Whoever takes the contract first, the other person's gonna get more than them. I hope in that case is Bijan gets signed first. Speaking of Bijan, y'all, I hope y'all saw it. Go to AtlantaFalcons.com or the Falcons YouTube site. They have the little picture of the players getting excited. They had Drake London, Jalen Walker, Bijan Robinson, and AJ Terrell looking at the new uniforms. And they look pretty excited. So look forward to that when they say April 2nd. That ought to be kind of cool. That's something new. Remember we did the new uniforms when Vic was here. And that was the year we kind of got into a different vibe. And I think that was the 2004, 3 going into 4. Where the current logo came into play. It'd be interesting to see. I've seen so many mock-ups of people and what they thought the uniform would look like. Pretty good stuff. But it's gonna be look, the next week is gonna tell a lot. We're gonna be with you, and hopefully if they have some breaking news on certain people, I would imagine you're going to have some news on releases coming this week. Everybody kind of clearing the book so they can get ready for that tampering section where we can start signing votes and talking to people. It's going to happen this week. We're going to learn a lot. We learned about Kyle Pitts and what the Falcons thought of him. And see what happens with Darnell Mooney, Yada, Caden Ellis, Ebiketie, and a lot of other folks. Going to be an interesting 5 or 6 days. But until then, folks, I appreciate everyone joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Again, if you didn't do it already, please hit the like button for me. If you haven't subscribed to Uncle Steve's Lounge, please do it. This is the Monday Minutia. We try to do it every Monday here around 6, 7, or 8 o'clock, depending on what's going on the schedule. And just try to talk to you and keep you up to date on what's going on with the Atlanta Falcons. Everybody out there, please, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, please hit the like button for me. I would appreciate it. Until then, everybody have a great Monday and a great week. I am going to get something to eat right now. So until then, everybody take care. Y'all be safe, be blessed, and go Atlanta Falcons.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge.